today the training session about these topics. We will talk about the ECU cloning tools, and we will talk about the key programmers, and we'll have an example for the key programming for Toyota. And at the end, we will have, if we will have time, we will have some information about immobilizer system for BMW and Mercedes. So firstly, we will start with the ECU and TCU programmer and XProject 3 BC adapter. The both devices has been introduced last year, and the function for these tools is to clone. What's the meaning by clone? Cloning means that each ECU has software. This software is almost used for performance and for organizing all the requests from the sensors and the actuator. Because as we know, any system have actuators, have sensors, and the function of the control unit is to manage all of these signals to get optimum output from this signal. So dealing with this kind of software, especially the engine control module and transmission control module in replacement scenarios, is very important to use cloning tools, because most of engine and the transmission now have security. This security makes the replacement is a little bit hard. If you replace second-hand control module with any vehicles that have ECM or TCM having security, so the car will not start or will not move. So dealing with this kind of scenario when replacing ECM and TCM with security, we need to use a clone. Clone is the best solution for this, because you will overcome all the possible solution after you replace. You will not need to do programming, adaptation, anything. Everything will be done, because when you do clone, you get all the data from the old control unit and you will write it to the new control unit. So please, if there are any questions, just let me know. Okay. So we could have a good discussion to make all our colleagues get benefit from this question. So why we need to do cloning, as we discussed, for in case of replacement of ECM and TCM with security. This is the first thing. Second thing, when we need to do a DTC off, or when we need to do some tuning like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Yes, these devices could do tuning, but not the software itself. The software itself will give you the facility to have only the file. After you get the file, you could play with it as you need. And also you will have the function for disable some function, like in some diesels they need to disable EGR, DBF, cat off. All of this function could be done using these devices. Also, in some cases, if you fail during the programming for these modules, you could back up this control module and make it alive again. If you program it through OBD and you have like a problem, you fail during programming. So recovering this control module will be easy if you have these tools. Also, the X431 have the cloning function, but with the XProg, through the IMMO prog or through the BMW and VW and Mercedes software, you could do some cloning. But the ECU and TCU programmer, as we will see, the software is more powerful, more stable, and especially for Continental, it is also so perfect. And also the coverage list for the ECU and TCU programmer is more than the X431 plus the XPro. So as we discussed, for ECM and TCM, Every control module have a microcontroller, as we discussed. This is a microcontroller. This microcontroller store all the data, especially for this vehicle. So what I mean by cloning is we trying to get all the software inside this chip or computer, because this is a small computer, have all the peripherals, all the logic units. So what we do by cloning is to get the data from this chip and write it to another chip. The problem for the hardware, for the engine control module, maybe it's have a hardware problem like ignition problem, injection problem, or having communication problem. So we could back up all the data inside the control, inside the MCU, and write it back to a good hardware one. This is the first scenario, as we discussed, for replacing the ECM and TCM. Second, for DTC off, because each file has the big codes. As you could see when you read the DTC for some control modules, you will find that maybe it's have like DTC like for oxygen sensor, for for catalytic. All of this DTC is stored on the flash file. If you could get the flash file from the control module, so you could do some function like DTC of using many third-party program. You could do this DTC of function. Also, for tuning and the disable of EGR or DBF or CAT, you could use also these files for WinOls or ECM titaniums. You could do any tuning, even you by yourself if you could do it, or you could ask someone to do it for you, no problem. But the main thing is you need to have the file in your hand. The function for this ECU and TCU programmer or BC adapter is to give you the file in your hand on a BC-based software. So this is the software interface, and we'll go now through the feature for this software. So any question for the previous part, that why we need to do cloning? Any question?
No.
Hello?
No, for me, no.
Okay.
No, you're good.
Okay. So we will start by the software interface. The software interface, as you could see, this is a PC-based software. In case the customer don't have any XProg or launch device, he could use the ECU and TCU programmer. In case if the customer have XProg 3, he could add the BC adapter and could make the XProg 3 work with the BC, which is more easier. So this is the ECU and TCU programmer, and this is the XProg 3. And this is some photos for cloning, that we connect the ECM or the TCM directly to the BC based software. Then we could back up the data from the control module. So we have three main functions for this software. First is data processing, anti-theft shutdown, and file verification. Data processing is for some control module, it need to be processed, because cloning directly from the original to the donor run will make some data corrupted. So in some cases, we need to do some processing for a certain control module. So we should use data processing. Data processing is we give the original flash file and EEPROM file to the software, and the donor flash file and the EEPROM file for the software. And the software will give us two files, one flash file and one EEPROM file. We could write it to the control module, so now it could work. This is especially for VW and Bosch, for some CMOS control module for Porsche, and ME17 for VW. Also, we have anti-theft shutdown for MED17 control module, like the IMMO off for some VW control module. You could do IMMO off to switch off the immobilizer system for some control module. We have another function which is file verification. File verification is very important. As we mentioned in the first part, if we send the file away for someone that could edit this file, so we need to do check some correction, because if we write the file directly after edit, the checksum byte will be wrong. So in this case, the software will not boot. So we need to correct the checksum byte by using file verification function. So when we receive the file or we edit the file by ourselves, we need to run the file verification function according to the engine control module type. Then we could write it back to the control module without problem. It will work. So we have a wide coverage list for the ECM and TCM, for especially for German cars and GM cars. All of this, model very competitive. Comparing to our competitive in the market is very strong. Also, especially compared to the price, we're offering a very high quality service. Also, we have some unique control module like the MSV80 for BMW. We also could do cloning without opening the case or removing any parts. Also for the third generation for BMW, for G series, we could do clone and erase, especially with this software for G series. So for using this software, we have the make and model and the engine and ECU. We could use the search at the upside search tab to search for the control module, like for example MED 17.7. You will get all the control modules that is with the same name. You could select the brand, and after that you could select the control module, and then you could connect according to the wiring. So you could download this software from CN Launch website. This website will have all the software for the ECU and TCU program. So for the ECU and TCU programmer, is there any question? Any question?
No, all good here so far.
No question. Thank you, Farouk. Please go ahead.
Okay. So we'll start talking about the, especially for IMMO tools or IMMO software. IMMO especially is used in case of adding key or key lost, reading EEPROM, reading MCU, immobilizer module replacement. This especially we use IMMO software because normal diagnostic software is not having this function. So especially for IMMO, we need to have the XProg and the IMMO software. So unsafety function is introduced for the vehicle to prevent vehicle from theft and to make it secure. Only it's give the authorization for the vehicle to start for only 1 or 2 keys that is already programmed to this vehicle. So they're preventing the car from starting or moving without this authorization. At the previous, before we have mechanical only security like the mechanical blade key, and also it was very easy for theft. But after that, they introduced the chip or transponder. This is the first immobilizer system introduced. Like we have a transponder. This transponder have security codes. The security code is sent along the immobilizer module for the engine control module to authorize this key. If the key is authorized, the vehicle will start. If not, so the vehicle will not start. So this was a basic security cycle at the beginning, but now it is getting more complicated. Now we have almost, we have a key. It needs to be programmed to the vehicle. When the vehicle have a correct code, it's sent it to the anti-theft control unit. Anti-theft control module is different from brand to brand. Each brand have a specific system, but there is a control module is responsible for keys to transmit the data from the key and authorize this key for the vehicle. After that, when you trying to start the vehicle, the unsafety control unit will send a code for the engine control unit to make sure that the data in the engine control unit is the same for the unsafety control unit and the key. If this data is correct, the engine will start. If not, the engine will not start. After that, if you start the vehicle and you trying to engage the gear, also there is anti-theft code is sent to the anti-theft control module. If this anti-theft control module or codes is the same, the car will start. If not, the car will not, sorry, the car will move. If not, the car will not move. We have many applications for this, especially for BMW and Mercedes. If the gearbox control module has been replaced from another car, the vehicle will not move. The gear will not engage. Also, engine control module, if it replaced from another car with different anti-safety data, the car will not start. Also, the immobilizer control module, if it replaced, so even the key will not work and the car will not start. Because all of these cycles, for the starting cycle or the immobilizer cycle for the vehicle, if any one or any part of the cycle is replaced, we need to do immobilizer programming. This is why we need IMMO tools for adapting this kind of control module, because as you know, all of this control module is electronic. Maybe it failed, maybe it worked, maybe it have hardware problem, so it needs to be replaced. So now most of garages, if they are doing electric troubleshooting, so engine control module is a famous problem they are facing, but replacing it needs a special solution due to the immobilizer or security data it have. Also, the gearbox, as you know, gearbox is serviceable part. It may be replaced after 200 k, 200 kilogram, 200 kilometer, 200,000 kilometers. So because it's have a wear, because it's have clutches inside, valve body, maybe it need to be replaced. If you need to replace it, so you need to program it. But if you program it with online programming function, it will not work because it's now in immobilizer part. So this is why we need to have IMMO tool or IMMO device. So as we discussed all of this scenario, like as you see in the photo, this is all a starting kit. All of this module is a starting kit. For VW, the cluster is instrumental cluster is immobilizer part. If you need to replace it, you need to program it with IMMO tool. So for this is a difference between IMMO pad and the pad 7. IMMO or IMMO software, as we discussed, is used for replacing immobilizer parts especially, or adding key or multiple key loss scenarios. But pad 7 is almost diagnostic software for normal diagnostics and online programming function. If we added the X probe to the pad 7, we could have a good anti-safety function for BMW, Mercedes, and VW. But for other brand, you need to have the IMMO software, even by buying the IMMO Pro or IMMO Pad or using the subscription card for the IMMO functions. This is the specs for the IMMO Pad and the X Project 3. Almost the X Project 3, as you could see, as we could see, almost I think all of you know this information that we have like these slots for the EEPROM slot, and we have key slots, especially Mercedes-Benz slot and the chip slot, and also we have the connection board of works, the main wiring, and also we have the connection for the connecting jumpers cable. As we discussed, immobilizer software is a special software that is being used for doing the immobilizer job. This is special software different from the diagnostic software, to cover all aspects of anti-safety programming as we discussed. Also, we have a wide coverage for replacement as we discussed in the ECU cloning. We have a wide coverage for the ECU and TCU replacement for a variety of the vehicles. Also, as a programmer, if we use the IMMO, because also IMMO is a software, you will find it as a toolbox. This software could only be used with the exif registry. If you have the exif registry, you could have multiple functions for EEPROM or MCUs or reading ECU and TCU for cloning purposes using the IMMO. This is the first solution. And second solution is using the PC-based software. Also, IMMOPAD have a lot of service function and also have the mole if you want to upgrade the diagnostic function. You could use the mole for any upgrades. Also, this is the accessories for the exif registry. It comes with the main cable, power adapter, and cables for the fourth generation for VW. We have the bench mode cable and MCU converter for using or reading the MCU. We have version 1 and version 2, and we have EEPROM chip adapter, and we have Benz infrared key for programming Mercedes-Benz. We have also EEPROM converter and MCU cables for soldering on board, and also we have ECU jumper cables. So we'll now go to the new key programmer, because key programmer now is introduced, because if we have the IMMO software, if you want to add key or do all key lost, we need to have a blank key. So the solution for having a blank key is to use the X431 programmer. This is used for generating a blank key to use the IMMO software for programming. Also, we have mechanical key, we have smart key is used with this key programmer. The kit for the key programmer is came with 4 keys. Each key has its type, and for each type we have a variety of shapes you could choose from it. Firstly, we have LK wire remote. LK wire remote is used to program by wire. This is why it's called LK wire. So as you see here, there is a socket. This is being used for connecting by wire for programming remote. But you should remember, for LK wire, you need to have a transponder to use it with LK wire, because LK wire don't have transponder on board. This is chip, or this is board is only for remote. Also, as you could see down, we have a multiple shape for this LK wire remote. We have LN series and LE series, which this kind of series, it's used for also mechanical keys. It's have the board, have the chip inside, and have the remote on board. But in some cases, you need to program the remote separate from that chip. And also, you need to put the battery for this board to be able to be programmed, because without the battery, it will not be programmed. So make sure for LN or wireless remote, all the wireless remotes, you need to have a battery inside to program or to generate this key. Also, this is the LE wire is the same. Also, you have the chip for the immobilizer and the remote on the same board. You don't need to add the chip, as we will see, because this kit came with 4 keys and 1 super chip. We will talk about it after the keys. So you will just you need to install the battery and start the programming, as we'll see how to program this key. And we have LS key. LS key is almost for smart key. We have a universal smart key. This smart key could be used with multiple brands. This is why it's called universal. So if you could use it with many brands, you just could select select the key type, as we'll see after that, and we will able to generate it for any kind of brand. This is the super chip type. This is super chip type. What I mean by super chip is transfer from one type to another. All of this, as you see, this is immobilizer type. This immobilizer type is could be changed like 46, 47, 49, 8A, 8C. All of this we could use the super chip function to transfer from one immobilizer type to another immobilizer type. So normally in the market you will find a specific chip like for 47, 49, 46. Each one have a chip. But by introducing the super chip, you have a variety of options that you could program into a variety of immobilizer systems, but the only thing you need to transfer between this kind of chip. Also, this key is could be written multiple times, and also it could be used multiple times. So normally, mechanical key, as you could see here, we have a chip or transponder. This chip, as we discussed before, this contains the security code or security data for this specific vehicle. And we have remote control boards is used for remote control and the mechanical key plate. This is normally for mechanical key. For smart key, only we have a board that is have the smart key or the immobilizer key and the root key inside without any transponder. All of this shape, as you could see, this is a multiple shape. You could choose what you want or what you need to have. But you need to take care because some brand like Toyota, you need to have a Toyota key. And also some Hyundai, you need to have Hyundai key. Just this only a note that you could, when you're doing order or you're having some keys, you need to take care that some key is specific. And the most of them is universal. So this function only used to prepare a blank key. As we will see, like if we have a Toyota vehicle, we have the IMMO software to do immobilizer, we learn, but we need to have a blank key. This is the option to have a blank key. We'll give you only a blank key, not programmed. Also, the key programmer is used with all X431 devices, but for you will, if you have these devices, you will only could do a preparation. You will have a blank key, but for programming the key for most of the brand, you need to have the IMMO software or you have an IMMO device. This is the main menu for the key programming or key programmer. We'll have many tabs, as you could see, we'll discuss it. So the function for this programmer is to program, to read, and test. Okay. For programmer, if we want to program a vehicle remote, we should use vehicle remote. Okay. So this vehicle remote will prepare the board to be used with a certain brand, as we will see. For reading transponder, you should connect the key programmer and put the chip, as also we'll see, to read the transponder. For generating transponder, if you want to generate a certain type of transponder, you use generate transponder. Frequency detection, very important because all remote having different frequency is dependent from region to region. Each region have its own frequency. So make sure that when you program a key, you select the correct frequency depending on the receiver antenna you have in your vehicle. Ignition switch coil signal detection is used for detecting the ignition coil signal for testing purpose to make sure that there is a good communication between the transponder and the antenna or the coil. Set super chip type, as you could see, could be used for setting the super chip type, for as we discussed, because we have multiple kind of super chip. This is used for changing the super chip to type to another. This is used set type of wireless remote is used to change the type of the wireless remote Remote function is used to customize some keys function for the remote unlock Toyota Smart Key. If we will have OEM or second-hand Toyota, which is almost unlock with mean or lock. Lock is mean this key is programmed to a certain kind of vehicle, so this key now is locked to this vehicle. Unlock mean to release this lock from the key to a certain vehicle to be programmed another time to another vehicle, which is mean unlock Toyota Smart Key. So if you have a OEM Smart Key from a second hand or scrapyard, you could use this function to unlock the Toyota Smart Key. So this function for reader, as we discussed, if you want to read the transponder or to detect the frequency, you could use these two functions. If you want to test the ignition coil and the transponder, you could use this function. Okay, for programming or generating a blank key, you could use vehicle remote or you could use generate transponder. Here we have an example. If we have a universal key for Hyundai, which is blank, we could use the key programmer to generate this key for this Hyundai CN7. After we prepare it, we could use it with the IMMO software X4C1 to add the key for the vehicle. Here, as you could see, this is a super chip or original transponder. We have the pose. If we read the original by reading transponder here, you will find the IMMO type is 4C, because when you read the transponder, you will have IMMO type. IMMO type is, as we discussed, this is the type of transponder that we should prepare the blank transponder or the super chip transponder to this type, because it have multiple time. So we'll go to generate transponder to be a 4C also type to be programmed to the vehicle. As you could see here in LK wire, to generating the remote, you need to have the cable. This cable came with the kit. You could connect it to the board, and to the Type-C port inside the key programmer is used to program this remote key. If you select this key, as you could see here, is for Elentra from 2016, you will find the frequency is 433, and also you will find all the key here down it should be used. Like it could use the Toyota Smart Key and could use Hyundai Smart Key. So you should have this kind of key. You should take care. This is kind of universal remote you should use when you program this kind of remote. Also, for mechanical key, as you could see here, if we select any kind of mechanical key, you will find here the all types supported, like it support LK wire, LN wireless, LE wireless, as we discussed at the previous part, the three types of mechanical keys that you're having on the kit. Also, you could select all or one of them to program it to or to generate it using the key programmer. If you use the LK wire, as we discussed, you should connect the cable directly to the board and to the key programmer. If you will use LNE, LN wireless, or LE wireless cable, you should LE or LN keys. You should use a battery for this programming because it's wireless programming. Also, if you want to program the alarm, you will find some tips and notes that could help you to programming the alarm. So now we'll go through introduction to the anti-theft function for BMW and Mercedes. So for the previous part, is there any question?
Yeah, I have one question. So let's begin from the start. Our customers started to face with problem they don't have access of description of smart case. I mean that this LS keys divided into several more remote function. I mean like NXP, SmartKey LM38, SmartKey LM38 Toyota, and other.
Yes.
Uh, and in standard configuration of key programmer, you just have four key, it LN, LS, LE, LK, LK.
Mm.
And this LS smart key is just NXP type.
Mm.
Uh, is if I know. So when we can get description of all this remote type for LS case.
I think we have a like Excel sheet that is have all the keys, because as you mentioned that for Toyota, maybe for Hyundai it's have a special keys for this kind of key, because as we mentioned the set is we have like 36 or 37 key for the set.
Yeah, but our customers need a
Sorry.
hint into the program, because if they just
Yes.
buy some device, they don't know that for current situation they don't
Mm.
access to learning key for Toyota, for example.
Yes, sure, sure. Toyota have a special key. We have two keys for Toyota. You should buy it separately.
Yes, yes, yes. But from this moment, it's we. I have a second question.
Yes.
I mean, first of all, uh, the function for preparing third-party keys. I mean, like Xhorse, VVDI, and other brands. Uh, in March, this function was removed. So from March for today, we just prepare only launch keys. And
Mm.
there is question is why its function was removed, because many of our users refuse to use key programmer by launch because they don't have access to buy these launch keys in their countries, because our
Mm.
distributors don't sell these keys for today. Maybe in future it opportunity was appear, but for today it's our customers don't have access to it.
For this issue, maybe we could ask Mr. Stephen for because for VVDI programming, this is like for a company-to-company relationship. So we don't have any solution for me as a Farouk
Okay, okay.
have any answer for this, because
Yeah,
as like
you can discuss this part with our sales. Today's meeting is only focused on the technical aspects.
Okay, 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 okay.
By the way, I'm not sure whether our sales has informed you that my commercial account has not been ready yet. I'm now using the free account, which is granted only 1 hour meeting time. And it means the meeting will ended very soon. So, Farouk, how many counties are left so far now?
the next part will be for immobilizer programming for BMW. We'll have an overview about immobilizer for ECM and TCM replacement, and some new functions that we already have for FEM and BDC for F series for
Okay, okay.
BMW.
Okay, Farouk. So, if this meeting will be closed automatically, I will open another meeting so that everyone can continue to dial in to listen to your presentation, Farouk.
Okay.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Uh, Okay. For the key types, as you mentioned, you have like for Hyundai and Toyota, they have special keys. You need to buy it especially because the LS for Nissan, the shape for Nissan, is not working for some brand, like as you mentioned for Hyundai and Kia, Hyundai and Toyota. So you need to buy this kind of keys. So is this clear?
Yeah, 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 it's okay.
Okay. So, is there any other question?
Yes, but the time is up now. I think the meeting is ending now.
Hey.